Hartlepool United fans, welcome to this video, this very special video with a very special guest. It is the main man, Mr. Jeff Stelling. Jeff, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure, Alex.
So we're just going to have a little chat about football. We're going to go through a few topics, but I suppose it's right to start with the big news from this week. Football is back, Jeff. Middle of June, it's going to return. What's your opinions on football coming back?
Yeah, I wish it was all football. I mean, that's the first thing. Premier League, assume the Championship as well. Look, it's great that it's coming back. It's not going to be football as we know it, because football is nothing without the fans, and there won't be any. And I'm not sure, people out there have been watching the Bundesliga or not. It's a pretty hard watch at times,
Crazy,
because there is no atmosphere. Yeah, and look, there'll be more connection in this country. We'll have more sort of empathy with sides, because we know the players, we know the teams, and maybe we don't know them so well in Germany. Well, I certainly don't. So I'm glad it's coming back, but it can't mask how difficult a time it is for sides particularly in League One, League Two, National League North and South.
I mean, as you said, it's absolutely nothing without the fans. I saw a stat that's in the Bundesliga. There's been all these games played over the last few weeks, but before the recent fixtures, there's only been 6 home wins. So I mean, that just shows you the importance of the fans, really, doesn't it?
It does, and it makes me think that maybe makes me hope. I think it's a forlorn hope that maybe some of these clubs will treat their fans better in times to come. Because, if you're a Premier League fan, it's different if you're a Hartlepool United fan. If you're a Premier League fan, you can't get near them. You just can't get an autograph. It's like gold dust, I remember being at games, Champions League nights at Manchester United when Sky had the Champions League, and I was hosting it. And the players basically were given a route away from all the fans to get away from the ground afterwards. Yeah. So you couldn't even see them leaving in their cars, let alone speak to them or get autographs. Yeah. So maybe this is a wake-up call. This is how important fans are, Yeah. We can't win at home without the backing of our fans. That's what it comes down to.
I think, as you say, when it comes to Hartlepool, the National League sides, the fans are treated with the utmost respect, and hopefully Premier League sides can start and follow suit a little bit. So we will get on to Hartlepool, I promise, guys. But just a quick opinion of yours, Jeff, is even though the fans are so important, is the title still Liverpool's?
Oh yeah. I mean, even if the season hadn't been completed, only the most rabid Evertonian or Manchester United fan could deny that Liverpool have been the best side this season, and they've been the best side by an absolute streak. And I would have thought that even if the season had not restarted, most right-minded people would just have thought of Liverpool as the champions, and that's what they deserve for what they've done throughout the season. Look, this is a way that they get the chance just to reconfirm their superiority, if you like, even though it's going to be done without their fans who, we've all seen games at Anfield where you thought Liverpool can't win this, but they've gone on to win games partly due to the fans. I mean, when they beat Barcelona 4-0,
Barcelona game, I was going to say.
That was as much down to the fans as the players. They're worthy champions. They will be worthy champions. Just a shame that they won't be able to do it in front of their fans.
Yes, they are worthy champions, but as you said, I think we all are happy football is back. So as I said, the Premier League is back. The National League is done for the year, done for the season. Hartlepool United's season is over. Let's just talk about Hartlepool towards the end of the season. I mean, we're making really good progress, weren't we? I mean, Challinor really seemed to have something going, very, very close to the playoffs, and it is a real shame that we couldn't finish the season.
It is, and people have often asked me about finishing the season. And look, in an ideal world, we'd have loved to have finished the season, because we're within touching distance of the playoffs. On the face of this, although you can never tell, on the face of it, we had really good fixtures to come. A lot of the sides above us would play each other as well, and therefore take points off each other. We had every chance of making the playoffs, every chance. A lot of players playing well, people just really rediscovering their fitness. I mean, Luke Molyneux specifically, just finding his way back, and he'd have been fitter and more impressive in the weeks to come. I'm absolutely sure of that. But at the end of the day, it was impossible for a club like ours or any other National League club, and probably most of them in League Two and League One as well, to play games behind closed doors. Financially, the losses, I think there've been a lot of figures banded about, but, every home game that we didn't play would cost us effectively about £15,000. I know people have seen figures higher than that, but effectively about £15,000. And that's without thinking about playing behind closed doors. We're going away from home. We've still got to pay for the coach travel and maybe a stay somewhere, and goodness knows where that would be, and training facilities somewhere. And then on top of that, we would need to pay for testing, and so it just wasn't possible to continue. And I was relieved when the National League came to the decision they did, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it is a decision that was rightly made due to the costs. I mean, we as Hartlepool fans, we can't say it was a real shame that the season did come to an end. Let's just talk about, Dave Challinor for a little bit, the potential of the team. Not just the season just gone, but for many years to come, hopefully, is really something. I think there's a real buzz around Victoria Park at the moment. Maybe something we haven't had in a few years. This is really something Dave Challinor is building. He definitely seems like the right guy for Hartlepool, doesn't he?
Yeah, he definitely does. Look, I'll be honest with you. I wasn't 100% convinced at the start that he would be the right man. And there's only one reason for that, is that all of his success has been at one club. And he done brilliantly at Fylde, absolutely brilliantly. Now, could he translate that success to another club? That was the big burning question. I spoke to a lot of people within the game who all said, he's absolutely brilliant. You've got just the right man there. And the truth is, I'm with them now. Because he came in and he had an immediate impact. I don't think he suffers fools gladly. He has made players the sort of kingpins of the team, if you like. The likes of Nicky Featherstone, who's absolutely guaranteed to start every game when he hasn't been under previous regime.
I was going to get on to Nicky Featherstone, but I was hoping you were going to mention him. But yeah, he's people like Nicky Featherstone.
Ryan Donaldson, the same, who not every fan necessarily appreciates. But Dave Challinor knows these are the players who really buy in to what he wants, and certainly over the next couple of seasons, they're going to be the real cogs around any promotion challenge that we make. But Challinor been absolutely brilliant. Joe Parkinson as well, and I know for a fact that when the sort of current financial situation's been put to him, because people would tell you, people would say, Dave Challinor, well, Fylde had a big budget, they bought their success. Well, Dave's proving that is nonsense, absolute nonsense. And when another chairman's pointed out there are going to be some financial restraints and things like that, no problem. Dave Challinor has bought straight into that, so he's definitely the man.
It's a project, isn't it? I mean, his success at Fylde is clearly there. The stats show for it, and he built a project there at Fylde. And I mean, Hartlepool fans, obviously, we all want to see promotion. We all want to see us finish first, whatever, win the title. But it is a project. I mean, we're not the financially biggest club in the National League, but I think Dave Challinor, as he said, is the right man. He agrees with everything the chairman's saying. It's good that you can see they've got a good relationship, and he definitely probably is the right man to take us forward. But as you mentioned, players like Nicky Featherstone, I was going to get onto him. I mean, over the last few years, I've seen him, especially when I was at Victoria Park, sat on the bench a lot, but he definitely seems like such a key man in this side now. What would you say is the key things Dave Challinor is doing with the likes of Featherstone, Donaldson, to get them? It's like they're almost like the cog in the team, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, I see it's down to self-belief. assume it's about giving them the belief in themselves that some of us have always had. It's easy now to say, I've always loved Nicky Featherstone as a player. I don't think there's a better passer of the football at that sort of level. I don't think anybody keeps the football as well as he does at that sort of level. I think he's fitter now, by the way, as well than he probably ever has been. Even though he's sort of in his 30s now, early 30s, let's say, and Ryan Donaldson, the same, Mr. Consistency, he's been given that self-belief. And it's not just those two. You saw the improvement before he got that injury. You saw the improvement in Luke James. That night at Chesterfield, he absolutely destroyed them with a display that was way above National League standard. And again, that's the sort of thing that Dave Challinor is getting out of players that the previous regimes maybe didn't quite get. I think he's instilled that self-belief. But I don't get me wrong, I think he's instilled some discipline as well. I think he's pretty much a disciplinarian, hard man, but gives players a pat on the back at the right times too.
Well, it's that idea of wearing the heart on the sleeve, isn't it? I mean, you can tell Dave Challinor wears it for Hartlepool, and he's certainly got players like, he said, when I spoke to him a few weeks ago on our Instagram Live, he said it exactly. He said, players like Ryan Donaldson might have got a little bit of stick over the last few years, but they wear the heart on the sleeve. Luke James never stops running. He's a workhorse, and that's the type of players he wants. So obviously Nicky Featherstone probably is actually one of the best passers in our league. So you're happy to see him stay with the return list being released last week?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anybody who doesn't know anything about Hartlepool and Nicky Featherstone. I'll just give you one example. Right at the end of the season, Solihull Moors, dying minutes, the ball he played in to help Aidan Keena win the game for us that day was just different gravy. So yeah, very happy that he has agreed a new contract. He's stuck with the club at times, through some difficult times as well. And he hasn't always had to, because Nicky could have found another club. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But he's wanted to stay and he's wanted to help. And that is certainly what he's doing at the moment. I'm pleased with everybody who's been retained. I'm hoping the likes, obviously, of Luke James puts pen to paper pretty soon, and I'm sure Mark Kitchen will as well, because he was a revelation last season. He's another player who Dave Challinor has given massive self-belief to, because I think when the retained list was published the season before, a lot of people were scratching their heads as to why Mark Kitchen was on it. But now, I think he's won 99% of people over with his displays. So yeah, pleased with the retained list. Got to have a couple more names on it. And of course, the other big thing now is, and this is something else that Dave Challinor did really, really well, is the quality of the loan players he brought in was brilliant. Now if we could get most preferably all of those loanees back on a permanent basis, that would be brilliant too.
As you said, them loans were fantastic. Mark Shelton specifically, he turned into a Pooley favourite over one season, didn't he? But talking about
and Macca as well. He was absolutely brilliant. Right from the goal line, the headed goal line clearance on his debut over his own bar. Well, he was just fantastic. And I look, Flea's at Fleetwood. It's a big club. Well, I say it's a big club. It's a club in a much higher division than us. It's not necessarily a big club, but I desperately hope that he realises here just how important he is and how much the fans learned to adore him in a few weeks, and hope that'll persuade him to come back to us.
That's the one thing we can promise if you sign for Hartlepool. The fans will always have your back here there at Victoria Park. Talking about that retained list, we saw the people who retained. Let's talk about some of the people that have left us. Just for other matters. Jimmy Toure expressed his desire to play at a higher level. What a player on his day. As soon as he got the ball at Victoria Park, you always thought something was going to happen. Sometimes a little bit more inconsistent. Do you believe that Jimmy can play at a high level?
Yeah, I think he can. People say he's inconsistent, and they're right. But players who play the game in his way, in his position, they're all inconsistent. From the Premier League down to the lower levels. If he can produce that sort of level of performance a bit more often, then he could certainly play at a high level. And he's given us some fantastic moments of victory. Sure, all Pooley will wish him well. I just hope that he's not getting some poor advice from an agent, because there are a lot of players at the end of this, coronavirus crisis who are going to be out there looking for jobs. And are going to be out there looking for jobs which will be offered to a lot of them at a reduced salary. Mm. And I just hope that Jimmy doesn't find himself suddenly maybe being offered League Two football, but on a salary that's less than he was getting at Hartlepool. I don't know that's the case, but Jimmy, in my view, Jimmy would have been better off sticking around, at least for another season. The crisis was gone, and maybe salaries had been restored to the sort of level that they were. Because I just, at the moment, I just don't see players being signed on big money.
Yeah, I mean, we do wish Jimmy all the best here from Hartlepool United. Let's hope that he gets a club that he does deserve. We're talking about, just carrying on talking about, the club and everything. One of the key things that's been going on this week is, of course, about the funds and, the finances. I assume you've seen the fantastic fundraiser the fans have started. Over 15,000 has been raised, halfway to their target of 30,000. I mean, Hartlepool fans are just amazing, aren't they? And, that fundraiser, that money's going to go a long, long way.
Yeah, look, it's fantastic, and it always has been. A couple of seasons ago, before Raj came in, the fundraising then was phenomenal. I mean, just phenomenal. And make no mistake, without it, there might not be a football club now. So yeah, and I think fans are going to be a big part of the club in the future. By the way, I'm going to carry on with this in a second, but I just want to say one of the players who left, who's leaving, by the way, that I think a big thank you to is Miles Anderson, because I thought he was a fantastically wholehearted player. And he wasn't on big bucks or anything like that. But whoever gets Miles knows exactly what they're going to get. They're going to get somebody who gives absolutely everything.
Yeah,
but money-wise...
Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, no, money-wise... look, the chairman's made it clear. When I first met him, he told me exactly what he wanted to do and how much money he was willing to put in. Well, he's put, not far off twice that amount in so far, over a lesser period than he planned. But he's made it pretty clear that as time goes on, he's not going to be able to keep on putting money in that sort of level. And what we want is the fans to be more involved, not just with the sort of fantastic fundraisers as it is now, but, obviously the club had a meeting with various supporters groups a week or so ago. And we want them to be more involved, not just by raising funds, but then by having a say in how the club's run. I mean, it wouldn't be totally a supporter-run club. Of course it wouldn't. Not while the chairman's putting in, shed loads of money, basically. But he and we want to make sure that we never face a sort of crisis like we faced a couple of seasons ago. So the more involved the supporters are, it is their club anyway. But I just think that association will become even bigger, if the supporters have, got shares in the club to all intents. It really will be their club. But our fans are brilliant, not just at fundraising. I mean, I go to probably more away games than home games. Now, and our travelling fans are
unbelievable.
Honestly, there isn't a group of there are other good fans in the league, of course there are. There isn't a group of travelling fans like ours, who will go in their numbers to Halifax or to Solihull or Ebbsfleet or, I was at Orient a season ago, there was 8,000 sellout, and I mean, we could have sold more tickets, but they weren't available to us, and they start singing before the game kicks off, and they finish singing after it ends, And yeah, I'm sure that when we put in poor performances, of course they've got some critical thoughts in their heads. They never let it show during the game. It's after the game, then you can have a day. But during the game, they they give it all just as much as the players give it all. I mean, so fundraising and support, absolutely fantastic. And the other thing is, that, I mean, we've all seen this in League Two, since in League One playoff final. But the fans that have really stuck by the club, I mean, they've stuck by the club through some difficult times. A lot of sides would have been getting 1,200 by now, through the gates. But not at Hartlepool, we are as well supported now as we ever were. Look, I take my cap off. They're absolutely, absolutely brilliant. And financially as well. It's not just times the football club that are hard sometimes. I know the supporters, financially it's hard for them to find the money for tickets, to find the money to get the games. But they do it, and it's incredible.
That association with the club, they deserve it. I mean, how many clubs can you name that have that trust in their fans so much? I mean, we ask for a fundraiser. They go for it. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, as you said, match days as well. I've travelled a few away games all the way to Barnet and stuff like that. We fill the places. And, just give you a shout out to the Northwest Corner. The support there every home game is unbelievable, as it is around the whole day. Talking about the finances, I saw your tweet about you getting in touch with Jamie and Harry Redknapp. Did I fancy a share in Hartlepool United?
Sorry, I missed the last part.
I said I saw your tweet about Jamie and Harry Redknapp.
Yeah.
Are they not fancying a share in Hartlepool United?
Well, I spoke to Jamie, and he said you never know with his dad. He said he's crackers, but he said he really wants to get involved again. So look, I haven't spoken to Harry. I know Harry pretty well, but I haven't spoken to him. But Jamie said he was speaking to him. But got to be realistic, that Harry lives in Bournemouth, and I said, look, it's a long way. And I said, tell your dad I'll give him a lift up every week that I'm going, But it's going to be, I'm sure it's going to be too far for him. But you don't ask, you don't get. So we'll keep on asking.
I don't know if you watched. I don't know if you watch Harry Heroes, but if you can convince Paul Merson to put his boots back on and play for us, then I think Hartlepool fans would welcome that as well.
He's still got it, Mercy. He can only do it for about half an hour.
Yeah,
He's certainly still got it.
That's all we need.
He was playing Sunday morning football until a season or so ago. Even at Paul Merson, ex-England international, and you can see he's still got it. So he was playing for a team on Wormwood Scrubs on Sunday mornings. Just for fun. And I remember one week he said to me, I said, "Well, you're playing tomorrow?" And he said, "I'm sub." He said, "We all take it in turns." Yeah, we all take it in turns to be sub. And I said, "Well, you're not going, are you? To be a sub for a team on Wormwood Scrubs, Paul Merson, ex-England and Arsenal, and goodness knows where else." And he said, "Yeah." He said, "I can't let my mates down." He said, "I've got to take my turn." He can still play, that's for sure.
I think that frightens me. Imagine being a Sunday League player and just seeing Paul Merson on the opposite side of the pitch to you.
It would frighten me more if I was Paul Merson, to be honest, because what a lot of them are going to do to you or try and do to you, and that's kick lumps out of you.
Especially if there's a few Tottenham fans playing Sunday League as well. I can imagine a lot of them try and go through the back of them. But let's pray that maybe someone like Harry or Jamie will get involved. Well,
Alex, we get lots of leads. We have over the years. Before Raj came into the club, and when Raj was coming into the club, we tried so hard to get investment from so many places. We had so many people. They were from Sweden and Canada, from London, from the States. Who were all, we want a part of the club. We want a part of the club. We want a part of the club. And we'd go so far down the line. Then we'd say to them, "Okay, this is the account number. Just deposit a certain amount, and we'll take it from there." Whoa, that's where it all stopped. So many people talk a good game when it comes to getting involved, and we've spoken to people since then. I think it's no secret who say they want to take over the club or share in the club, and you look at them and you've really got to give them some real close scrutiny, because the last thing you can afford is for the club to fall into somebody's hands who are just asset strippers or who don't have the club at heart. We know all about that. So we don't want that to happen again. So finding the right people to invest it is really hard.
As you say, I can imagine the interest coming in, because at the end of the day, Hartlepool United is a big club. We spend so much time, you know, in League Two, League One. 15 years ago, a few days ago, we were in that playoff final.
16,000 fans, took 16,000 fans or so there, you know.
I mean, crazy what could have happened if, you know, if we were 2-1 up. It's crazy what could have happened if we ended up the championship, you know, like where would we have been now? Would we be in the same position? Would we be where Sheffield Wednesday are? I mean, that game was, I mean, the result obviously didn't go our way, but as you said, 16,000 poolies went down that day.
Yeah.
You know, and 15 years ago, it feels like last week, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It was an amazing day. I mean, look, they battered us in the first half. God, let's be honest about that. I think, you know, if we went there as underdogs in some people's minds, but not in mine, because we'd only beaten them 3-0, you know, the Adam Boyd hat-trick a few weeks before. But when we took the lead and we got so close, and I knew their manager was Paul Sturrock, I knew him a little bit, and he's got like 6 forwards on by then, you know, we're 7 minutes from the end. And we all know what happened. And I mean, in this day and age, I think what would have happened is Chris Westwood concedes a penalty, but he wouldn't have been sent off, you know, because of double jeopardy. He made every attempt to play the ball. And my view then was that he still shouldn't have been sent off because the ball was safely back in the goalkeeper's hands. And that might have changed things, even if it got to 2-2, you know, 11 aside. But we were in extra time, we were absolutely on our knees, basically. But it was I mean, I look back on it with very sort of bittersweet emotions, you know, because I was so proud of the players and what they'd achieved. And they'd come against this club, which was, a giant in Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah, and we'd taken them absolutely all the way. And our fans were unbelievable. It's just steps away from the championship. What a story that would have been.
Yeah, Jeff, I lost the last bit, but then just heard it. Just for people watching, we apologise. As you said, this is not ideal. It's a Zoom call, but we're doing well. But yeah, I mean, so many, as you said, people are interested because of the so many great memories Hartlepool have. I mean, even when we replayed on our Twitter the semi-final of the playoffs. I mean, and that penalty shootout away from home. I can't even imagine the nerve of some of the players, you know, Richie Humphries and the like stepping up. But what great memories some of them games were, really.
You know, I wasn't at the second leg of that game, but I was behind the sofa because I couldn't watch anymore. And Richie Humphries, the bottle, because of course Richie had taken the penalty in a semi-final playoff against Cheltenham. When we'd gone out, he hit the underside of the bar and the ball bounced down on the line. So what he was going through was, you know, was just incredible to think about. And I think I had a feeling, I just had a feeling that night that once we got through extra time, we'd win the penalty shootout because nobody gave us a hope of getting through extra time. You know, we'd made substitutions and, you know, they were battering us at the time, was wave after wave, and somehow Scotty got a tune out of them. Martin Scott got a tune out of them for the last half an hour of extra time, and but it came to the penalty shootout. I mean, it was brilliant. It's one of the best nights of my life, to be honest. You know, because we've gone through and after the first leg, by the way, people forget how good we were in the first leg. We were absolutely brilliant.
So many memories we can go back and look on. But as I said, if things could have been different, who knows? But with the Challinor, you know, as we said, it's a project. It is a project. So let's hope maybe one day we can be back there. But you know, maybe for the foreseeable future, next season, you know, there's going to be a lot of players that come in. It's going to need to. What are, as a Hartlepool fan, Jeff? What are your hopes for next season?
Look, same as every season, Alex. You know, every season you think this will be our season. You hope this will be our season. You look at the players who come in, you think, yeah, he can do a job for us. He can do a job for us. But it just doesn't always turn out that way. And every club's got the same hopes. And, you know, this is a hard division to get out of. You just got to look at Wrexham for that. They're a classic example. What is that, 12 seasons now? And they're a big club. And like us, they've got fantastic fans. But it's tough to get out of. I think the thing that gives us real hope is that the players that we have kept, I think, are quality players. You know, and I'm biased. I think most of them could play at a level higher than this. I think that we have a manager and a management team in place that know how to do it. They know how to, you know, put a squad together. They've shown that, you know, at Farley. And look, I know they didn't get out of the division in the end. You know, they went on to win the FA Trophy and were, you know, so close to getting out of the division. So yeah, we've got real reasons for optimism when the season does get underway eventually again. And I think we've got the fans on our side, and the fans know it's a project, so they know they have to be a little bit patient. And I know they will be. I know if we don't start well, they'll still be patient. But goodness me, who said that? Wouldn't it be great to start well for a change?
Oh, wow.
Wouldn't it be just fantastic? Because we never seem to.
We always seem to pick up at Christmas, really, don't we? That's where our season seems to start. Yeah. Sometimes a little bit too late, but I mean, if we could have a great run up to Christmas and then have ourselves in a good position by Christmas, I mean, it would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean, what I was going to say is, I mean, as we do find ourselves in the position we are now, and I know we just talked about memories. A video that came up obviously just a few weeks ago, because it was, you know, on this day, was the last game of the season where Rodney hit it in the back of the net, and alongside that video was you guys in the Soccer Saturday studio. You know, what a game that was. Emotions up, down, up, down. I mean, what was that like?
It was probably harder being in the studio than it was being there, to be honest. You know, I think, like a lot of the fans, look, it was a tough game, you know, because obviously Doncaster were getting promoted anyway, but could have been champions. And I think at the time when when the manager chose to put Devante Rodney on, I think a lot of people thought, what is he doing?
Yeah.
You know? And then he goes and scores 2 great goals. But, you know, it snatched from us. And, you know, with that last-minute goal for Newport against Notts County, Kevin Nolan, who was in charge of Notts County then, every time I see him, still apologises for that, you know. But again, it's another case of what might have been if we'd have just clung on, you know, or rather if Notts County had just clung on, because we did, you know, we could still be a Football League side now. But, you know, what I do think, Alex, is that hopefully in years to come, we will come back stronger. A lot of sides come out of this division and they come back stronger for it. You know, I don't want us to be, with all due respect, a Morecambe who hangs on, you know, every single year and finishes third bottom just outside the relegation places. I think we're better to come back with a foundation, good group of players, be solid financially, and, you know, hopefully find the step up much more straightforward and don't find ourselves scrabbling around at the bottom of League Two. I want to get to League Two again, of course we all do, but I don't want us to be bottom or second bottom or third from bottom. I want us to have a decent platform to build the future on.
I mean, as you said, we hope there's many years to come we can look back and kind of be glad, you know, not glad, but kind of think almost in a way it was kind of good that happened, that we went down, because then we got Dave Challinor in. Obviously, we've had a few hurdles, but as we mentioned before, it is a project, and let's hope one day we can be back there, not struggling back there, back in League Two and competing. We'll start us up, Jeff. But like, what would your message be, you know, to Hartlepool fans for next season?
Keep doing what you're doing. Keep supporting the team. I know you will. If you can get involved with the club financially, and I know how hard that is, then please do so. Keep supporting the chairman, because he's done everything that he promised he would do, and I always think it's just worth bearing in mind that without Raj Singh, there wouldn't be a football club now. I mean, there just wouldn't be a football club. There was nobody waiting in the wings. Every other avenue had been exhausted. Every other avenue. We were within 48 hours of not going to administration, but going into liquidation, and that would have been it. So stick with him. He won't get everything right. Dave Challinor won't get everything right. The players won't get everything right, but just keep doing what you've always done, Keep supporting, because as we said a couple of times now, I just don't know a better set of fans. I really don't.
The Hartlepool fans really do define the never say die brand that we have had for so many years. But but let's pray and let's hope, for next season that we start off well, as you said, and we are closer then, just as close as we were when the season finished. But Jeff, thank you so much for joining us, Hartlepool fans. Thank you so much for joining us and tuning into this video. Jeff, if this goes down well, part two in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, I think so, Alex. Hopefully, we'll know a bit more about when we might get restarted as well. That's the big thing. Yeah, but it's a frustrating time for all football fans. The big thing from a Hartlepool perspective is get through this spell where there is no football. Make sure we've still got a football club at the end of it, with a foundation to build on. And I'd like to think, I'm a long way away from home. I slip up, you see, I was called Hartlepool home. I'm a long way away from home, so I don't know all the ins and outs, and I wouldn't pretend to know all the ins and outs, but I think we're heading in the right direction.
We definitely are, and if we can go up anything from the end of last season, on the pitch, because that's what matters at the end of the day, we certainly are going in the right direction. But as I said, Jeff, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully in a few weeks' time we can talk about actually the next season, and maybe talk about a few more Hartlepool memories. But Hartlepool fans, thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back with more content, but for now, stay safe and stay alert. Thank you very much.